Imagine a world where the fabled fountain of youth is not a myth, but a microscopic reality, encapsulated within the marvels of modern medicine. Enter extracellular vesicles, the pint-sized powerhouse at the forefront of age reversal programs, especially when sourced from the umbilical cord plasma, loaded with peptides and cellular vitality. Stem cells were once the cool kid on the block, but exosomes have stolen their thunder. Why? They're cool, collected cousins that bring all the regenerative benefits without the drama. They're more stable, easier to dose, and throw fewer tantrums in the form of immune rejection or genetic slip-ups. Cardiovascular health. There's preclinical studies that have demonstrated exosomes can enhance cardiac repair post-myocardial infarction. So post-heart attack by promoting angiogenesis, modulating inflammation, and reducing scar tissue formation. Wow. All right, welcome everybody to the Health Accelerator Challenge. This is your host, Cade Archibald, and I am really excited to be here with everybody and jump into some really, really cool things. We're going to be diving into some pretty interesting, intriguing research and things that Reagan's been learning at some of his recent conferences, as well as some of the newest research and things in aging or age reversal medicine. So I'm excited to dive in here. Before we jump in, hopefully you guys enjoyed last week's Health Accelerator with Nikki Bott and Tristan Slagowski. They issued the challenge last week. They went over the Fitness 50 benchmarks. And so the challenge was to get at least one of your benchmarks done. So, that could be your dead hangs, your push-ups, your deadlifts, any of those things. So type into the chat box if you're joining me live here how last week's challenge was. Let me know how it went. Hopefully it went well. Dead hang. So you're at the fittest at 1.5 minutes. And man, I will tell you, dead hang is such a challenging one, but it's so good. Great for blood pressure, and it's just so good for overall health and being able to show how fit you actually are. And so, nice. And I was actually gonna comment on that. We had one of our clients this week broke the record. They did 1 minute 38 seconds on dead hang on Monday, and so proud of you, Linda. Well done, and very exciting. So love that. It's so fun to see people hit their goals and accomplish what they set out to get done, and so very cool. So today, we're going to be diving into exosomes and the hallmarks of aging. You're stuck with me tonight. Reagan's not able to join us. He is actually on a flight. He was at a conference in Florida, so he's not going to be able to make it with us, but hopefully I don't bore you too much. We're going to go through some really interesting deep dive into exosomes, or also known as extracellular vesicles, and the hallmarks of aging. And so I know we talk about the hallmarks of aging quite a bit, and we have kind of the strategies, but there's 9 key hallmarks of aging when you look at the body. Genomic instability, telomere attrition, epigenetic alterations. So this is like things, external factors creating changes in your genomic system. Sometimes that can be good. Like the epigenetics is really good when it's when you're kind of enhancing your genes, but it can also create some problems if you get exposed to a lot of chemicals or different things there. Loss of proteostasis, deregulated nutrient sensing, mitochondrial dysfunction, cellular senescence. That's the dying off of cells, stem cell exhaustion. So this is, we all have these stem cells in our body, and they help repair and regenerate, different things in our body. And when those start getting exhausted and they're not doing their job, that's going to create aging, as well as altered intracellular communication. And so when your cells aren't communicating appropriately, that's going to create aging. And so these are all kind of the 9 hallmarks of aging. And so there's some really interesting studies that have been going on for decent amount of time, but also just there's so much new research happening in the world of exosomes, stem cell research, as well as just the aging world. And so some really intriguing stuff is happening here. And so we're going to talk about these extracellular vesicles, which ultimately I'll refer to them as exosomes, or also EVs, but ultimately they play a key role in regulating various biological processes related to aging. Their studies show that they contain RNA cargo that can regulate gene expression in other tissues. So they play a really big role in the disease and aging process. So they've been implicated in the age-related diseases such as type 2 diabetes, mellitus, inflammaging. Some of these things in this middle section, as your exosomes or your extracellular vesicles, if they're not young and vibrant, they ultimately can create aging. So they kind of have 2 components to them. If they're really healthy and lively and doing their thing, they can actually reverse aging. If they're not doing what they're supposed to, they start becoming sluggish, dormant, just like senescent cells these senescent cells that just kind of hang out in there, they can create problems. And it's the same thing for exosomes or these extracellular vesicles, where if you're not keeping them primed, then they're going to start creating the aging process. So just really, really interesting. So additionally, there was some studies on with mice doing life extension. So extracellular vesicles, they contain ENapt, which ENapt, I had to just make sure I actually understood it fully here, but this is actually it is a extracellular component or the enzyme NAD+. So NAD is crucial for energy metabolism. It's involved in regulating different biological functions, really crucial for your mitochondrial health and DNA repair. And so also helps with cell survival, so as well as metabolism. And so this they showed that these exosomes with ENapt, they're contained in those, they delayed aging and extended lifespan in mice. So that's really, really interesting. So if you guys have any mice out there, you want them to live extra long, just get them some exosomes. It's going to be awesome. You'll have eternal mice. So there's also some really interesting things on the immune functions. So there's some immune functions of plasma with extracellular vesicles or exosomes that have been found to be really differentiated between adults and centurions. And so there's some really big potentials in exosomes' role in the immune system and regulation during aging. And so if you have these healthy exosomes that are creating that are signaling properly and healthy, you're gonna live longer. You won't start having these breakdowns in this diagram that I'm showing with these 9 hallmarks of aging. Versus if they're not doing the right thing, that's going to cause inflammaging. So that's aging due to inflammation in the body. You're going to have less differentiation and proliferation and more senescent cells. Versus if you can get it, if your extracellular vesicles and your exosomes are actually really highly they're communicating properly, they're sending out their signals appropriately. This is where you're going to have much better lifespan. So some therapeutic potential here. There's been shown to be some really promising therapeutic values with exosomes, such as alleviating age-related bone loss and tissue damage. Young fibroblast-derived exosomes from microRNA has been found to transfer beneficial effects on aged wound healing and cutaneous wounds. There's also just really on how they communicate and work with stem cells. Really interesting. So these exosomes play a crucial role in stem cell mediated regenerative process. So they've been shown to have the potential therapeutic applications in various medical conditions. And what they can do is they can enhance the cell-free bone regeneration, promote bone and skin regeneration, repair critical size bone defects. They also exhibit anti-senescence effects in human skin cells, suggesting there could be some really good potential in anti-aging interventions. And a lot of this stuff is coming from a study. This comes out of PubMed called Therapeutic Potential of Extracellular Vesicles in Aging and Age-Related Diseases. This was published in December 23, 2022, if anyone's wanting to have any references on kind of these details. So really, really cool. And so these exosomes, they can be administered. There's a few different therapeutics. And I won't go into all the details on administration, but this is something that I think is super fascinating, really interesting. And there's some really, really interesting components when it comes to plasma derived from umbilical cord, and some really really promising things there. So just on the bear with me now. I'm actually going to read a few pieces here, but imagine a world where the fabled fountain of youth is not a myth, but a microscopic reality encapsulated within the marvels of modern medicine. Enter extracellular vesicles, the pint-sized powerhouse at the forefront of age reversal programs, especially when sourced from the umbilical cord plasma, loaded with peptides and cellular vitality. So this is looking at umbilical cord plasma tissue. And so, yeah, there's looking at stability and safety and the exosome edge, or the kind of what creates the differentiation between looking at exosomes is maybe a perspective improvement from maybe stem cells or some of these other treatments that people talk about. Stem cells were once the cool kid on the block, but exosomes have stolen their thunder. Why? They're cool collected cousins that bring all the regenerative benefits without the drama. They're more stable, easier to dose, and throw fewer tantrums in the form of immune rejection or genetic slip-ups. And that means they get the job done with fewer complications. So when and there's obviously it's not something that can be done in the United States, but when you derive stem cells, just extract only stem cells. And you look at that versus these exosomes, the exosomes are actually going to be a lot more dynamic and less problematic when it comes to some of the downsides. And so, and just so everyone's clear, when I'm referencing stem cells in this particular thing, is that's like stem cells derived. What we're, we do umbilical cord tissue derived injections, infusions, things like that. And so these are tissues taken from umbilical cord tissue from scheduled C-sections. That's broken down, and so there's just a vast amount of cells, as well as cytokines, proteins, amino acid chains, and peptides that create this signaling factor that's just a beautiful landscape for healing and treatment. And so we've been looking at furthering that and improving that with exosomes. And there's some really, really awesome stuff. And Anna asked a question here on the chat. She was out for cellular rejuvenation treatment. Would NAD plus shots be a good support for them, or should I wait a while? So NAD plus, if you did the shots, that would be great. As well as we have some of the nasal. You can reach out to the office, and there's some nasal spray NAD that we have with neuro NAD, or the injectables is great. NAD is really helpful for your mitochondrial health and your energy powerhouse, as well as it absolutely would go great with that. So the full body revival. So going back to exosomes here, these tiny therapeutic titans are not just stable, but spectacularly versatile. They've been strutting their stuff in the regenerative runway, showing off potential and repairing the who's who of organs, kidneys, like your kidneys, liver, heart, and even your brain. It's like having a multi-tool for tissue repair. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to have that age reversal in their age reversal arsenal? And when it comes to aging, it's not just about looking older, but it's about feeling older. And so your exosomes, however, would be conducting the orchestra of youthfulness. They've got a finger in every pie: cellular senescence, oxidative stress, inflammation, you name it. They're like the ultimate regulators, potentially reversing the loss of tissue generation that comes with aging. So if you look at all these things that are contributing to aging in this diagram, you have that inflammation, differentiation and proliferation is decreased, DNA damage, all these 9 hallmarks. So from genomic instability, telomere attrition, your different epigenetic alterations, loss of proteostasis, nutrient sensing, your mitochondria function, your cell senescence, and the stem cell exhaustion, as well as the cellular communication. They can help put those pieces, the puzzle, all together. And so really, really intriguing, amazing stuff here. So they're natural. So exosomes, just to give you a little more detail on the role of exosomes in cellular signaling and DNA expression. So they're naturally equipped to carry and deliver a variety of biological molecules, including proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, directly to your cells. This direct delivery system enables exosomes to influence gene expression and modulate cellular pathways effectively. So really, really cool. What are exosomes? What healthy, lively exosomes can do in the body? They can enhance the integrity of intracellular signaling, ensuring that aging cells respond appropriately to growth factors, hormones, and other signals that regulate cellular function and homeostasis. Turn on gene expression for health and vitality, which effectively reprograms that cell to exhibit characteristics of younger cells. They facilitate repair, regeneration by delivering the necessary components directly to the cells that require them, thereby, so ultimately they promote tissue maintenance and function. They're also one of the modalities used to offset the 12 hallmarks of aging. So, the headwind of aging. So if we look at kind of what causes aging and everything here, our DNA starts to unravel. Our organs lose their ability to repair themselves. This is when we start, we start to look old, right? Since our job here at East West is to help you feel, look, and perform your best, there's several studies that suggest that maybe exosomes would help turn back the clock. There's some specific things in kidney repair. Animal studies have shown that mesenchymal-derived stem cell exosomes can facilitate kidney repair after acute kidney injury by promoting cell proliferation and reducing apoptosis. There's research with liver regeneration. Research in mouse models of liver fibrosis has indicated that exosomes from MSCs, or these mesenchymal stem cell medicinal signaling cell is another term that we've used here, can reduce fibrosis and improve liver function by delivering anti-fibrotic RNAs and proteins to damage liver tissue. There's gut healing potential here. So in models of inflammatory bowel disease, IBD, exosomes have been shown to promote mucosal healing and reduced inflammation, suggesting a potential therapeutic role in disorders like Crohn's or also ulcerative colitis. So really, really cool, intriguing studies happening there. Cardiovascular health. There's preclinical studies that have demonstrated exosomes can enhance cardiac repair post-myocardial infarction. So post-heart attack by promoting angiogenesis, modulating inflammation, and reducing scar tissue formation. Wow. There's lung recovery. So exosomes have been investigated for their role in treating pulmonary diseases such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, and pulmonary fibrosis, with animal studies showing improved lung function and reduced inflammation. So very interesting. Immune system modulation. So there's additional evidence that exosomes can modulate immune response, potentially beneficial in autoimmune diseases, in enhancing vaccine efficacy, though detailed human clinical outcomes are pending. So There's brain health. So studies on neurological diseases, including Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, suggest exosomes can cross the blood-brain barrier, deliver neuroprotective substances, potentially slowing the disease and progression. Cognitive function. So preclinical research indicates that exosomes may facilitate the clearance of beta amyloid plaques and support neurogrowth, which are critical factors in maintaining cognitive health in aging and Alzheimer's. Pancreatic function. So exosomes have been explored in the context of diabetes for their potential to convey insulin and regenerative factors to the pancreas. Though human trials are needed to substantiate these effects, have seen some promising things on animal studies as well. Skin regeneration. MSCs-derived exosomes have been found to promote wound healing and tissue regeneration in skin, suggesting obvious potential applications for chronic wounds and burns. And then along with that, there's the musculoskeletal system. Research has been shown that exosomes can help support the healing of bone fractures and the regeneration of cartilage and osteoporosis, potentially through the delivery of growth factors and anti-inflammatory molecules. Interesting. And then vision improvement. In animal models of retinal injury, exosomes have been shown to protect the photoreceptor cells from damage, offering a potential avenue for therapies for degenerative eye diseases. Man, so many cool things here. And along with that, these exosomes, so what they're critical for. So if you really think about kind of everything we've talked about, said here, there is, when we look at the 9 hallmarks of aging here and what can create some problems. So if we look at it from a genomic instability, exosomes can carry DNA repair enzymes and nucleotide sequences that target and rectify accumulated DNA damage, thereby stabilizing the genome. So it can help with your gene stabilization. Telomere attrition. These vesicles or exosomes can be engineered to introduce telomere to aging cells, telomerase, to aging cells, potentially extending telomeres and addressing the critical issue of telomere shortening, which we know if you look at your telomeres, or we look at the telomere attrition, the Hayflick limit is kind of that 120, right? That's kind of where, if you look at our genes and our telomeres, human beings, the life expectancy based on those would assume 120. But the problem is we have all these other factors in this aging mishmash here of, all these other components that create, our telomere attrition, genomic instability. All these different components are fighting against it. And so these exosomes can potentially help with the telomere attrition. Loss of proteostasis. So by delivering chaperone proteins and proteasomes components, exosomes might help maintain protein homeostasis, preventing the accumulation of damage of misfolded proteins. Very interesting. And we have the Nano V here in our office. If you guys have been here before, hopefully you've done it. If you haven't been in, come in, try out the Nano V. That's actually one of the treatments that's helps with misfolded proteins as well. 5, deregulated nutrient sensing. Exosomes may contain signaling molecules that recalibrate nutrient sensing pathways like AMPK or the mTOR pathway, which are often dysregulated in the aging process. And then on the mitochondrial dysfunction front, these mitochondria-targeted exosomes could carry critical components for mitochondrial repair enhancing cellular production and reducing oxidative stress. Very cool. And then there's also the cellular senescence. So that's your dying off of cells. By delivering microRNAs and other regulatory molecules, exosomes can influence the cell cycle and potentially clear senescent cells that contribute to aging. So that's those cells that are just not doing much, we can clear them out. And then the stem cell exhaustion. Stem cell-derived exosomes can support growth factors and other regenerative molecules, rejuvenating aged tissue by enhancing the function of the body's own stem cells. So could be a factor there. Really cool. The altered intracellular communication. So with their cargo of cytokines and growth factors, these exosomes may be able to normalize intracellular communication that typically deteriorates with age, reducing systemic chronic inflammation. Very cool. So hopefully this was intriguing dialogue, some really cool stuff on the aging front happening in this world, especially with exosomes. So some really cool potentials there. And so I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. I'll issue a challenge. Maybe reach out to us, see if exosomes is maybe something that might be great for you, or just do a little research on it. I think there's plenty. There's this study I referenced previously this is on PubMed, so take a look at it. That is, just to reiterate, that's therapeutic potential of extracellular vesicles in aging and age-related diseases. So very cool stuff. Thank you guys for joining us so much. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Same place, same time. We'll see everybody.